Hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you how to replace the center bezel in your Porsche and go from this to that. Now, I haven't been making a lot of videos with the Porsche, but quietly I've been upgrading it on the inside with these OEM parts with red accents. And one of the things I want to show you on camera is replacing the center tack bezel with a red one. I've tried two aftermarket ones that I purchased online. I'm not going to name the manufacturers, but they were absolutely terrible. The quality was absolutely awful. So in this case, I decided to buy an OEM GTS cluster that comes with this red tack in the middle. It's a manual cluster. It's much easier to find PDK clusters. It's very, very difficult to find a manual cluster. The beauty of me having this GTS one is the fact that I can also have a white needle. If I were to simply replace this with an aftermarket one, I would have to reuse my needle, which is orange. In this case, we're going to have a white needle on this red face, and it's going to look absolutely stunning. Since we're going to be disconnecting the electronics, we have to disconnect the battery, disconnect the negative terminal, and put it somewhere aside. Next is we have to remove this trim here. Now, a lot of people remove this steering column here, but check this out. If you pull it out and down and then lock it in place, then all you have to do is take a little trim tool. You know, we're going to also pop this trim out. There you go. So you just yank it. You can actually let it dangle like this, and we're also going to pop this trim out. So right there, see, so this trim is out. Then it should be as simple as yanking this thing out here. You can use a finger, see, and it just simply comes off. We might have to help ourselves on this side with a trim removal tool, and then wedge it up here. And there you go. The next step is disconnecting the gauge cluster, and the cluster is held using these 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and they're T25s. Now, the only thing is, if you start unscrewing them, you will absolutely lose them. So we're gonna grab a magnet. This is the easiest thing to catch your screw. You stick your magnet next to it and start unscrewing. Check this out. I'm also going to link this down in the description for you. Now we can pull this bezel aside. This will allow us to remove the gauges. We're going to remove this blue one. You see this orange piece is going to slide out like this, pushing the whole piece out. There's a little piece here. You push it up, and this will allow you to see it does this thing here. And as you pull it down, it disconnects itself. So now we should be able to just simply remove it. I don't want to scratch the glass. There we go. So this is where they are. This is the new GTS one, and this is the one that we took out of my car. Now, you might ask, why don't you just swap this into the car? Well, the mileage is actually stored in this actual cluster, so it would require a dealer visit. So I'm trying to avoid that, which is why I'm doing this. Next, we want to remove this bezel, which will allow us to gain access to the face. And to do that, this bezel is held using these clips all around, but it's also held using these T10 screws, which we now, have to undo. And by the way, get yourself one of these. I'm also going to link it in the description for you. Next, we're just going to simply unclip this bezel, and what helps is you just gotta get one of these plastic trim tools and just put one under, and the rest you can just do by hand, because this one will give you some tension and it's going to continue pushing everything up. Then you flip it on the other side and do the same thing. Stick one in here and then do it by hand. Do this by hand, and now we can simply remove this face. There you go. Before we go any further, keep in mind that these arrows, you can actually move them, but they stop just under 0. So the best thing to do is to either put a piece of tape on where they stop, or you can take a picture so you can easily adjust it. So check this out. I just took a picture. This is what it looks like, so I can easily remember once I redo this where these needles rested. So they have to rest slightly, sort of a notch under 0. We're going to start with the GTS cluster. What you want to do is you want to just grab the needle. You know that it's been reset. So grab it and just pull it, pull it, pull it. There you go. See, this is what it looks like, and it simply pulls out. And don't worry, once you reattach it, you can always remove it and reattach it again. And now, removing this bezel, it should be just straightforward. It should snap out of this centerpiece. You see, you kind of give it some pressure. It snaps out of the centerpiece, and it snaps out of here. There's a little notch here, so it kind of slides into it. So when we install it, we're first going to slide this into it and then snap it into the center. Let's move over now to the receiving unit. So once again, let's make sure that the needle is at 0 or slightly below 0. You grab it, put some muscle into it. Okay, I am much more comfortable with this one. So we're going to put this needle on the side, and once again, put some pressure on it, but push your finger in the middle and just snap it out. Same thing, snap it out. And then on this one, you see this little snapper here. You want to push it to the side. You want to push it this way. And this now comes out. And check this out. This is the difference between the one that came with the Cayman S and the one that came with the GTS. In the back, this is what they look like. In the back, they look the same. In the front, attaching it, what did I say? See, you put this guy, you see this section here? You kind of want to snap it into place here, then snap it in place here, and then push it under, and then snap. There you go. So you kind of want to push it under here, then push it, stick it, and then push it back in, because you've got these notches that are holding it in place, and now it's not going to come out. Next, we're going to take the white needle and let's put it back in place. But before we even look, before we tighten it, you can actually see where it rests. See, so now this is actually, so you can actually lift it up and put it down. And what is the rest? See, now this is way too low. So let's lift it up. Actually, I can adjust it all the way left. It's got little resistance. So whenever I'm ready, so this is it. Now I can push it. There we go. Okay, so you push it in a little bit, adjust it down, and then when it's ready at its 0 location, you press it, and that should be it. Now, just so we can be comfortable with the process, let's repeat it on this one. So this is the old GTS one. You see this little notch here? We're going to put it in. This one, slide it in here, then slide it up on this side. Slide it. You see? And now it's snapped in on both ends. Then let's do the needle and check it out. With the needle, it's actually pretty straightforward, not that I know. See, look. This is, when you drop it, this is the resistance. So you basically push it here, and then bring it up, push it here. See? There we go. That's how simple it is. We're gonna remove the speedo now, so it should be the same. You see, it's just a notch under 0, so we have to remember where it was. But we have a picture of it, but we can actually lift it up, and then, come on. All right, this one was a lot harder, I'm not gonna lie. So again, you see, this is the 0 mark. Let's bring it up a little bit. Let's lift it up. Oh my God, yes, this was a lot harder. Now let's install it back in. So just like with the other one, you kind of want to gently put it in. And then look, so you're going to bring it down. This is what, oops, there you go. We brought it too far down. Let's give it more tension. This is where it's resting. I'm very, very happy with this one. And let's just go ahead and put this needle in this unit. There we go. It goes like this. See, that's even too low. Let's try this again. A little higher. There we go. Perfect. So this is back in place. This is back in place. Let's just test it. Up. Okay. This is where it rests. And now we can put everything back in place. So this is the one. And one thing we have to remember, let's remember to align this. you see this little notch here, right there. So this notch should be aligning with that. Has to be fully aligned. There we go. Then the next thing we do is just put all the screws back together, and we're back in the car again. Now, apparently, if you have a GT4, you might have another connector connecting it to this bezel. With this one, as you can tell, there's only one, and check this out. We've got our faces. We also have our needles. It looks pretty cool. So let's start sliding it in. There we go. Now, we're going to be reconnecting this little plug here. It's just simply just sliding it in, and this little lever, see, it clips back in place. You want it to clip. Next step is as simple as just guiding it back in place. We should snug it with at least the top screw. Once the first one is in, the rest should be pretty straightforward. With the bottom one, I need to assist myself with the magnet once again. The last step is putting this trim back in. Let's put this trim back in. It's as simple as just popping it back in. And let's put this trim here. And again, it's as simple as just simply popping it back in. Let's readjust the steering wheel. Let's make sure it works. And we're done. Let's reconnect the battery, see how everything boots up for the first time. So let's get to it. I want to do it with you live for the first time. Okay, are you ready for this? The key goes in the ignition. Look at this. When you turn the ignition off, when you take the key out, they drop below zero. So they look to be calculated properly. Look at this, and this is what it looks like. So cool. Now, what happens when we turn the lights on? Okay, so the obviously everything's still backlit, and the needles still turn red when you turn the lights on. But when you turn the lights off, the needles are white. Now, will this bother me that it says GTS, even though this is a Cayman S? No, because I am building this car into a GTS, and I'll show you once I'm fully done with it what it has. But on the interior, I mean, as you can tell, it's got a lot of GTS options. So let's leave it at that. I like the fact that it's OEM. I would much rather have an OEM piece in here as opposed to an aftermarket piece. So sue me. But before we go any further, when you disconnect the battery, you have to reset the window switches. And what you do is, so the windows are down, you bring the windows up, hold the button, and when it goes up, you release it and pull it back again. And then let's do the same thing at the bottom. So you go down, keep holding it. As it goes down, release it and push it back in. There we go. And then you do the same thing with the other one. And we're done. This was a fairly easy exercise if you know what you're doing, and hopefully after watching this video you'll be much more comfortable if you want to do this thing yourself. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, so maybe it will be out there to help other people who are tackling this. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Any tools that I used, I'm gonna link down in the description in case you are interested in doing it yourself. And yeah, so once again, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.